What if the biggest financial crisis of your lifetime wasn't an accident? What if it was the very reason Bitcoin exists at all? This isn't just about technology or online currency. This is about money, trust, and your financial survival. Every time a crisis hits, governments rush in and promise stability. Every single time, they print more money to patch the holes. And every time, without you even noticing, your savings quietly bleed value, inflation, bailouts, bank failures. Does any of this sound familiar? Stick with me, because what I'm about to share could change how you see money forever. Bitcoin wasn't created during a boom. It wasn't born in a time of prosperity. It was forged in chaos, for moments exactly like the one we might be heading into right now. Let's rewind the clock. The year is 2008. The global financial system is on fire. Lehman Brothers, a 158-year-old institution, collapses. The stock market is in a freefall. Suddenly, words like subprime mortgage and credit default swap are on every news channel, but nobody really understands what they mean. All they know is that millions of people are losing their jobs, their homes, and their life savings. The retirement funds people spent decades building vanish almost overnight. It was pure, unadulterated panic, and in the middle of all this chaos, what did the people in charge do? The very institutions that caused the crash, the too-big-to-fail banks, were rescued. How? With trillions of dollars of freshly printed money. A massive bailout, funded by the public. The message was loud and clear. Your losses are your own problem, but the bank's losses? They get socialized, the profits stay private, but the risks are passed on to everyone else. In that moment, something fundamental broke. Trust in the banking system shattered. Trust in the governments who were supposed to be watching over it. It cracked wide open. But the most profound question that emerged was about money itself. People started to realize something absolutely terrifying. If money can be created out of thin air, endlessly, with just a few keystrokes, then what is its real value? It means your hard work, the labor you trade for that money, effectively has an expiration date. It means the value of your savings isn't secure. It's subject to the whims of a handful of people in a boardroom. The modern financial system is built entirely on one thing: trust. You trust your government not to devalue your currency by printing too much. You trust your bank to keep your deposit safe. You trust the central planners to manage the economy competently. But if you look at history, you see one pattern repeat over and over again. When the pressure hits, when the system is strained, they always choose the easy way out. They choose printing. Why? Because printing money feels painless at first. It doesn't require a vote. There's no big public announcement. It's not a visible tax that people can get angry about. It's a silent, invisible solution, but the cost always shows up later. It shows up at the grocery store when your bill is suddenly 20% higher. It shows up at the gas pump. It shows up in your inability to save for a down payment on a house. This is what we call inflation, but a better name for it is a hidden tax. It's a slow, silent transfer of wealth away from the savers, away from the responsible people, and towards those closest to the money printer. It punishes saving and rewards debt. This is the fundamental, inescapable flaw in the system, the one nobody in power ever wants to talk about. And it was in the ashes of this realization, this global crisis of confidence, that a new idea was born. In January 2009, while the world was still reeling from the financial meltdown, something strange appeared on a little-known corner of the internet. A digital file, the very first block of the Bitcoin network, known as the Genesis block, was mined, and embedded inside it was a line of text, a hidden message for anyone who found it. It wasn't a random quote. It was a headline from the Times newspaper of that day: Chancellor on brink of second bailout for banks. This wasn't a coincidence. It was a declaration. It was a timestamp, proving Bitcoin was born right in the middle of this mess. But more than that, it was a mission statement. Bitcoin was designed from the ground up to be a direct response to the failures of the traditional financial system. It was an attempt to build a system where unbreakable rules replaced fallible human trust. A system where money could not be printed out of thin air to fix political mistakes. No bailouts, no central authority to corrupt. No permission required to participate. Bitcoin was engineered to fix three core problems that led to the 2008 crisis and countless others before it. First, the problem of infinite supply. Bitcoin has a fixed supply. There will only ever be 21 million coins. Ever, that number is written into the code and cannot be changed. There are no emergency meetings in a smoke-filled room to decide to create more. There are no exceptions. This makes it the first form of digitally native, absolutely scarce property in human history. Think about that. Even gold, our historic store of value, doesn't have a perfectly fixed supply. If the price of gold goes up, mining companies invest more to dig more out of the ground. With Bitcoin, no matter how high the price goes, you cannot create more than 21 million. Second, it solved the problem of centralization. The old system has single points of failure. A government, a central bank, a CEO. If you can pressure that central point, you can control the whole system. Bitcoin is decentralized. It runs on a global network of thousands of computers, all working together to enforce the rules. There is no Bitcoin headquarters you can shut down. There's no CEO you can subpoena. There is no central switch that anyone can flip to turn it off or change the rules. This radical decentralization is what gives it resilience and makes it censorship resistant. And third, it solved the problem of trust. In the old system, you have to trust people. With Bitcoin, you don't trust, you verify. The entire history of every transaction is recorded on a public ledger called the blockchain. Every single rule of the system is transparent and enforced by open source code that anyone can inspect. You don't need to trust that the bank is solvent. You can see the proof on the network yourself. It replaces the need for trusted third parties with verifiable mathematical truth. This entire elegant system wasn't built for the good times. It wasn't designed to be a payment app for your morning coffee. It was built for when systems fail. It was built for when currencies weaken under the weight of debt. It was built for when confidence in institutions collapses. It was built for the exact moment when trust disappears. Now, fast forward to today. Look around. Do the warning signs seem familiar? We have government debt levels exploding to heights never before seen in history. We have endless rounds of stimulus and quantitative easing becoming the new normal. We have inflation, once called transitory, becoming a persistent part of our lives, eating away at our wages. We're seeing bank instability and fragility reappear, with major banks wobbling on both sides of the Atlantic. We're even hearing talk of capital controls and central bank digital currencies, which could give governments unprecedented control over your money. The patterns are repeating. The same pressures that led to the 2008 crisis are building up again, only this time, the scale is much, much larger. This is why understanding Bitcoin isn't about being a tech expert or a day trader. It's about understanding history and risk. Bitcoin is not a get-rich-quick scheme. It is a financial lifeboat. It's insurance. You don't buy fire insurance for your house hoping it burns down. You buy it because you know that fires, however unlikely, do happen. And when they do, the consequences are catastrophic. In the same way, you don't own Bitcoin because you hope for a financial collapse. You own it as a hedge against the very real possibility that the system we depend on could fail us again, just as it did in 2008. Bitcoin exists because history has a tendency to repeat itself. Bitcoin wasn't created to replace all money overnight. It was created to give people an exit, an alternative, a choice. It offers a parallel financial system that doesn't depend on the promises of politicians or central bankers. A system that operates on a foundation of math and code, not trust and hope. It's a savings technology for a world where saving is becoming increasingly difficult. So the next time you hear about inflation, or bailouts, or a banking crisis, remember that headline from 2009. Remember why Bitcoin was created. And ask yourself this one simple question: if the people in charge keep changing the rules of the game to benefit themselves, why should you keep playing by those rules? Why would you trust the same system, run by the same people, to produce a different result this time? If this helped you see Bitcoin in a new light, subscribe for more unfiltered truths about money and finance. And I'd love to know what you think in the comments below. Do you believe the next major crisis is closer than we read being told? Thanks for watching.